In progress.
Hello, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you guys are. This is Vanessa Donaldson, military spouse transitional coach, and I have the honor and pleasure of having Diane Marquez with me today, who's coming in from New Mexico. So thank you for getting up a couple hours earlier. Diane and I are going to be talking about things all military related. So I am kind of your guide for life beyond the military. I'm a retired spouse of 26 years, and Diane is on the other side of still active duty military spouse. Her husband is serving in the Navy. So thank you so much for what you're doing already as an active duty spouse to help this community. And today we're talking about that subject of employment. Oh my gosh, there's so many military spouse. It's like a trigger word every time we move, right? Like employ, got to get another job. How's this going to roll this time? So we're talking about all of the stresses about employment. And Diana is with Talents Ascend, which is actually like an employment company. She's going to tell you more about that herself. But she is a candidate experience representative. I like that title. So she wants them to have a great experience, military spouses and others, getting that job that they're looking for and matching their skill set, their perfect skill set with the job that is just the fit for them. So yeah, we'll just start off with maybe just I'll kick off with kind of my journey with traveling and being a military spouse and my work with different companies, different organizations around the world, and how that hindered me, had some issues, some stumbling blocks. So we want to be of value and of help to other people that are going through this right now. So, so like I mentioned, we got out like 10 years ago, but we joined from Camp Pendleton Marine Corps base. I was a young mom then. So my job, I decided, and thank God my husband was the paycheck work that I could stay home with the kids and raise them when they were younger. And then at some point, they get to school age and you're like, hey, I want to go get out of the house and do a little something for myself. So, well, actually one of his first or second deployments, I ended up, taking the baby with the stroller up and down the road, just kind of getting the lay of the land of our new surroundings. We were in San Clemente, California, and I ended up at the community center. And I love going to libraries with the kids. That's why I would always bring them there to read books and stuff. And ended up at the community center and found myself in a jazzercise class. So there I am in the back of the room, and I'm kind of like loud, outspoken, extrovert, and move my way in the middle of the room, the front of the room. And by like the second week, I think the teacher was like, get on the stage. I'm training you. You need to be my sub. I need a vacation. And I'm like, what? So yeah, that was probably the best shape I was ever in. I sub for her with teaching jazzercise, and I could roll my daughter in the stroller into the daycare room right next door where you had little chits. You drop off the kid, and I go, work on my fitness, which someone else was just reminding us, doing exercise 3 times a week. It's like an antidepressant. So do something like that instead of sitting around or doing something else. So so that from there, we went on and on. I ended up working, I think even at a little baby store, because the woman was from Belgium and I speak French. So that was the only connection she needed. I'm speaking French with her. And she's like, oh, wow, parlez français, ça c'est bien. So I ended up doing retail, and I spent most of my paycheck buying these cute little baby clothes for my daughter. She had a playroom there so I could bring my kid with me. And I'm like going home I'm like, wow, where did the money go again? Oh, and those cute little outfits. So from there, we moved on a few other times. And yeah, I've been in and out of working in the job market, staying home. So that causes a lot of gaps in employment. Hence, we need people like Diana to help with that process. So tell us, Diana, how you started off with Talents Ascend and what you're doing with that company. And I hear everything about AI. So there's something involved with artificial intelligence in your company. So tell us more.
Well, like you said, I'm a military spouse. I'm going on almost 19 years here soon. Yes, 19 years.
Wow, retirement season for you soon, maybe.
Yes. We actually moved back from overseas, from Okinawa last year, and I had applied for 23 jobs before I came across Talents Ascend. Yeah. And I hadn't heard from many of them. I think I only had like 3 interviews out of all of those, and a lot of them were just like, you don't have what we're looking for. And I think even one of them, the person I interviewed with, was about 20 years younger than I was. And I knew from the look on his face when we interviewed that he saw that I was too old for the position. And so, so that's what we're kind of trying to do here at Talents is trying to get everyone past that bias, past that judgment, going into job job hunting. We don't use resumes and we don't use job boards here at Talents. And when you create your profile with us, you put in all your information as far as whatever job positions you've held, any education you have, any certifications, and there's no timelines. So you don't put in when you had these positions or when you went to school. You don't even put in your birth date. So, there's no telling how old you are or how long you've been doing this or how long you were even at a job. So after you put in all this information, our AI system will auto-populate your skills based on all the information you put in. And then you get to tailor your skills to what you want to do moving forward. And then the AI system will match you to the employers who partner with us and the skills that they've listed for the job positions that they're trying to fill. So think of it like as a dating site, but for employment. So they're trying to just match you to that perfect job based on your skills. So you don't have to upload resumes. You don't even have to send us your resume because we won't look at it. It's like, no, we don't want your resume. No resumes.
I tell people that. I've connected several people with you and they're like, what is the stuff? I'm like, there's no resume. Go have a talk with her. This is going to be like a smooth transition. They're like, what is this about?
Yes, exactly. And at first when I luckily a friend of mine was already working for the company when I came in, and I was like, do you need my resume? She's like, no. And I was like, wait. This is weird. Are you sure? And she's like, yes, don't. I was like, no, this, how are you going to know? And she goes, no, it's fine. Just fill out your profile and it's fine. I thought it was the strangest thing, but it worked. Sorry, I'm having technical difficulty.
I do the van life, so I got a lot of technical stuff, but I've got internet today. Just keep rolling with it. So what is that application like? So you're filling out like boxes, basically. How many questions? How long does that process take?
It just depends like how much information you want to give us. I mean, the more job positions you put in, the more education you put in, the more skills you get out of it, because of course you learn from you've learned different skills from everything you've done, so I mean you even get skills from high school. So we tell you, put your high school in there, put your any community college, university, trade
volunteer work, right? Even volunteer work. A lot of military
even volunteer work. Yes. A lot of the spouses, yes, they do volunteer work. That does count as a job position. Volunteer work does count as a job position. So put that in there because you do gain skills from that.
That's awesome. Yeah. And so depending how much information you put in there, what's the average amount of time that you just email it to them and then they sit to like a Google Doc or something, or?
Well, depending on how much, I mean, it just depends on what skills that like the employers are looking for. Some people will get matched right away. Some people, it'll take some time, and just depends on what job positions are open, what our employers are looking for. We have employers all over the U.S.
And, so it's mainly U.S., not international.
Yeah, not international. But there are some remote positions. Ooh, so it can work for some spouses, yes. And so so it like I said, it just depends on what the employer is looking for. And then when they get a match, the employer will get an email saying, hey, you've been matched to this candidate. You will see that you get matched, but you won't see what employer you get matched to. We do that for security purposes. And the employer can look at your profile. The best part is they don't see any demographics. So they won't know what gender you are. They won't know what what race you are. They won't know age, exactly, because of course we don't ask for birth dates, but they can't tell, like, of course, what race you are because they won't see your name, so they can't go in with that judgment beforehand.
Even the name is not shown.
Yeah, they'll see what skills you have, so you have that foot in the door before going into that interview, because they know that you have what they're looking for. Now, see, if they get intrigued by what they see on that match, then they can unlock your profile and get all the rest of the information as far as your career preferences, your salary preferences, your location preferences, and all that other stuff. And then if they want to, they can interview with you from there. They'll contact you with your email, your phone number, or or even in our chat feature that we have in our profiles.
Mm-hmm. So I think I was with several temp agencies in my life working with military movements. So are you kind of like a third party, kind of like a headhunter, and you guys get maybe a cut or something every time there's a military spouse placed in a job? Is there like a kickback to Talents Ascend? It doesn't work like that, because I think traditional, temp agencies, that's how it works. They place you and they get a little something too.
Nope.
So.
Nope. For our candidates, the platform is completely free. They do not have to pay for anything. Our employers just pay an annual fee to use us as a hiring resource, and that's it. We don't get any like, oh, we got a bonus because so and so got hired. No. You know
Right.
what? Our bottom line is we just want to help you find employment. Like when I forget to say, I do weekly walkthroughs. I do them twice a week, and that's a live demonstration on how to create your profiles. I go through it step by step, and I always tell my candidates, you know what, connect with me on LinkedIn, because someone's always posting about jobs being available for this and this, and I'll always comment, like commenting for reach in case somebody sees it and it's something that they want to do, because my job is just to get you hired, even if it's not through us. You know what I mean? If it's something that you want to do, go for it. Go apply through there. It doesn't have to be through us. We are not the only option. We are just another option. And it's free. So why not try it,
Yeah, our ears perk up with free and discount. It's the military mindset. So
Yeah, exactly. I mean, and I think that's the best part, is that it's free. Because trying to find a job is hard enough as it is. I mean, and then having to pay for it makes it even worse.
yeah.
So, I mean, why not try it? It's free.
Yeah. And you just said your last job, I mean, it took you like 20 something rounds until you found this with Talents Ascend. So
yeah. I got lucky because I had a friend who was looking out for me. Yeah.
Right. Which goes into, networking. It definitely helps to have Talents Ascend, but so much is all about networking and connecting with people and who you know. So use those circles, whether it's Facebook and you message people like, hey, you're in the same town as me and I noticed you're doing this, and can we have a coffee chat or something? But networking is huge. It just gets people in front of the employer a lot quicker than somebody completely out of the blue that's just
yeah,
or whatever.
And that's why I always say to connect with me on LinkedIn, because like I said, there's always somebody posting a job or something, and then I'll comment, and then if you see it, apply for that job.
Right.
If it's something you're interested, apply for it. You know what I mean? Or I'm always posting, hey, there's an event going on, or I'm part of this event or something. Come and join me.
Yeah, I mean, you're top of mind for me now, because my clients are military spouses mainly, going through the transition of leaving the military into civilian. And so if you're even at that spot where, like, I don't know what I want to do with my life, because that happens, right? We've raised the kids, we moved around so many times, we've held so many different jobs, and all of a sudden you get to choose, you get to decide where you want to spend your time, what you want to do with your free time away from the family. So yeah, that's something I walk clients through, just even through that step. We do like a fun process called the 3 most important questions too, just to go over their needs and wants and what they're looking for. So there's even that prior step, because by the time they reach you, I mean, yeah, they can put everything down too. But then again, you don't want to really highlight stuff like, if you really hate, doing admin or sitting at a desk and you're putting all of your admin skills on that profile, what's it going to match you with? Something that maybe you don't like. So I would walk them through that of like, what brings you, what lights you up, what gets you excited to get out of bed, what brings you energy, because you don't just want to just dumb down yourself and be like, okay, let me just put whatever on this form and just get whatever. Like we want to have self-worth and use our skills and shine. So we don't have to settle for less anymore. We moved around and been told what to do and where to go. So we don't need to settle for less anymore. Right.
Yeah. And that's what I like about this platform. I mean, I put every job that I've had before, right? And I've done retail for years, but I didn't want to do retail anymore, right? So I can remove those skills that are basically just for retail, but the jobs that I've had before gave me other skills that are not just retail. So I still had other skills that were related to those jobs, but there are other skills that that we're not just for retail. You see what I'm saying? So you can remove what skills you don't want to use and keep the ones that you do. So that's what I like about it, that you can tailor it to what you want to do moving forward. And I forgot to mention too, it's not just for militaries anymore. We did start out that way for military spouses and veterans, but we recently rolled over, into Townsend in November. So now the platform is open for everyone. So if you know of anybody who wants to come on in, if you got, if you are military and you have that one friend that that's struggling, that's outside the military network, tell them to come on in, invite them over.
Yeah. I think I'm sending people at least once a week to you now because conversations, and some of them are like, I'm going back to work. A lot of it's like they've been home. They've had that long unemployment gap. They've been busy, raising families and doing commendable things. I mean, being a parent and a mother is like the toughest job in the world. And if you put like a number next to it, there was something that went around years ago on an email, like, you're the CEO of the house and the contractor, like, and it itemized everything with a dollar amount. And it came to like, $250-something thousand. That's what a mom.
Of course, we don't see that money, but
but like, be well aware that that's what it is. So question here that I was thinking, when you're talking about connect with me on LinkedIn, that alone is also a hurdle for some military spouses, because we've been maybe just on the Facebook social world so long, just kind of reconnecting with where are you going now? Where are you traveling now? Everybody's catching up that way. So LinkedIn is, much more professional platform for, entrepreneurs and business. I just kind of up my LinkedIn, up leveled it too in the last year. We all start off with just like our name on there and an email. You're like, what's my login again? I can't even remember. And then some people don't even have their photos on there yet. Like that's when you can tell they're really fresh out of the gate. Like, okay, there's not even a picture. And then, if you're very introvert or shy, it's like people don't want to put the information, but it's the only way people can know who you are. Like you have to put some pictures out. If you want a photo shoot, photographer type thing, I've got a connection. I've got a toolbox for everything. I'm kind of like a connector, as Diana probably sees now. But how would we help those ladies along, or those veterans that, they don't even have that LinkedIn yet. And so you're like, connect on LinkedIn, and they're already stuck. Like, oh gosh, I don't have a LinkedIn account. So that's something I can help with too. I help people just kind of get their foot on the ground with starting up their business, little things, so it's just like, let me walk you through your account. Let's set it up. Let's use some special tools and algorithms. I've learned a few things through different coaches on how LinkedIn works, but that's the main way to connect with you. And that's where they put all their history down. Like, there's just so much information, and the platform is great how you can just connect people with each other that way. So I even met a woman the other day who's an image consultant who likes to help women feel better about themselves by making them, helping them dress better, and just like, to get them to feel like be out there and just be like, what, confidence.
To give them confidence. And I was like, oh my goodness. I was like, all right, if I come across anybody, I'm sending them your way, because that's what we need a lot more of in this life.
Yeah, I would love her in my toolbox too, because it turns out lots of military spouses, they end up with this kind of lack of confidence. We've just kind of maybe moved around with our spouses so much, we're kind of like the wallflowers on the wall in the back. I used to wear a little flower on my head, and so I was like helping military spouses bloom wherever they're planted. And then I'm thinking like, no, we're like wallflowers, but we're peeling off the wall now. Like we don't need to stay on the wall anymore.
Yeah, we need to be out there again and just be like, hey, hi, I'm here.
So reach out. I mean, there's military Facebook spouse community groups too. I'm a part of them, and people share some struggles and frustrations on there. So, that's a spot where I'll, just give encouragement and empowerment. I have a group empowerment and mentoring program too for spouses. So we just need to lift each other up. And sometimes it's just hearing from one other person, you're beautiful the way you are, you can do this, or let me help you with this one thing. And then it propels and launches them into, a whole other thing. I've had a client once, I mean, she was completely self-isolated, barely came out of her house. She was not only a spouse for like 18 years, she was also in the veterans. She's a veteran. She used to serve in the Army herself. So she served. A lot of people do that dual thing, right? They serve, they meet each other there. Then they're both serving, and you're trying to do that marriage thing together with the dual. And then one gets out. Maybe there's kids that come along. One stays home and the other keeps going forward. There's a lot of those connections. But yeah, she barely left the house for a year, and had all kinds of social anxiety issues. And then with the COVID thing too, in the pandemic, everybody just got cocooned. So when I met her was one of the first times she came out, and she seemed like she was doing pretty well, but she, told me later on when we were coaching, like that was really, really hard move, and that first step to leave her household. And yeah, so we coached for, gosh, over a year. We worked on self-worth and confidence, and just got herself back on the ground. She was going out more. She was making, decisions with quality friends in her circle. She ended up getting a job, just local job. She's back in school working. Yeah, if something happens with her job, I'll be connecting with her again too. But she's mainly like in the medical field, working on her education again, getting like certifications and skill set to just create a whole new life after, a divorce and all kinds of stuff. So yeah, there's a need out there. And had she not come out of her house and engaged with me and just shared her thoughts, like I couldn't have helped her. We couldn't have done this together. So yeah, we have to get out there, and self-isolating, either social media or in your house. Like it's not going to help launch you to your next level and up level you and just open up doors and opportunities for you. So that part could be a struggle for some, and anxiety and just all kinds of self-sabotage, fear stuff. But we can work through it. And once I'm connected with you, what's like, about how many people does Talents send? How many employers, and then how many people have you helped? Do you kind of know some ballpark numbers there?
We have about in our database, we have about 12,000 candidates.
Wow.
And employers right now, I believe we have about 40, but they have multiple positions for each company. So
okay. And then staff
we have 6.
And she laughs like, yeah, I don't know when I'm sleeping.
Yeah, we have 6, but we're all over the place. So yeah. And I'm the only one like in the west coast. Everybody else is on the East Coast.
Oh, really? Well, that's good. I mean, it's nice that they can branch you out, because then you can be more on time zones to connect with the West Coast people more.
Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
So yeah, so definitely a smaller staff, about 40 employers and 12,000 candidates. Okay.
Yeah, and I'm in charge of all the candidates, which is a lot of fun. I love working with all of them. I do. I love being able to be there and to help them with what they need, and whenever they have questions, or there's just like they got concerns. I just love being there.
Yeah, and I got that you're very heart-centered. I mean, we met in a couple different military circles, group circles, support circles, networking, and I was like, I have to connect with this woman, and it just came across. We just want to help each other along. We've got enough negativity in the world. Like this is. My mentorship program, it's all positive energy. It's like you can vent and cry for a few minutes if you need to let something out, but then what are you doing now and where do you want to go? Like, let's get out of the funk. So,
exactly.
So yeah, I saw that with you too. So another question I'm thinking about now is, what is the length of time from when a candidate kind of joins you and says, hey, I'm interested, I'm searching for a job? I mean, and a lot of them are coming out of divorces too, and they're starting over, and they're single moms. I get a lot of that too. So it's like, oh my gosh, they're just feeling like they're at the bottom of the valley, right? And we want to get them to the top of the mountain. So from that point until maybe a match, like what's kind of the time frame? It's different for everybody, I'm sure.
Yeah, it is different for everybody. It just depends on the skills and what the employers are looking for. So, I mean, it could be, like I said, it could be like the next day, or it could be like a couple of months. It would just depend on what they're looking for.
Yeah. I mean, even a couple months, 2, 3 months, 4 months, even that sounds reasonable at this day and age, because, I've talked to military veterans who've waited a year or longer, and in fact, the spouse, so she's volunteering already with other spouses doing all kinds of great things. And I'm like, is that what you're working on? She's like, no, I need a job. I've got 2 young kids. I'm like, oh my gosh. So we're volunteering our time everywhere, but we're just not getting in front of the right people for the job market thing.
And I always tell them, don't give up hope, because our jobs are very fluid. We got a lot coming in, we got a lot coming out. So, I mean, it's constantly changing. So, you just never know. And I always said, we're not the only option. We're just another option. It's like having another person looking for the job for you, because our AI system is constantly matching for you. So you'll get a ping every now and then, like, hey, you got a match, or an employer is trying to reach out to you and whatnot. So it's like having that second person off to the side, like looking for you while you're
Yeah.
still doing your other job hunting on the side. So,
And, kind of that cheerleader too, just someone
yeah,
else in your corner. Like you said, don't give up, keep hope.
yeah,
We're going to find something. Like
yeah,
we need to hear that, or else we just, the mind just plays these tricks and games on us that, we're just not worthy. We can't do it. We can't,
yeah,
can't. I mean, I was married
yeah,
to my Marine. Boy, when we were dating, we met in Africa and I was in the Peace Corps.
yeah.
From the beginning, I mean, I think I said the word can't like once or twice and learned really quick. Don't say that word around him. He's like, you what? I'm like, can't. I can't. I think, yeah, I think I can. Yeah, even just eliminating the verbiage in our vocabulary that brings us down and self-sabotages us, like even those things, how we talk to ourselves,
Yeah.
it affects how we show up in the world. It affects how we interact with people. It affects the energy that we get from the person we're, connecting with or not connecting with. So, but yeah, we got a couple comments here in the chat. I think these might be your peeps from Talents Ascend or someone in your circle. Christy G says, our
Yeah.
team are rock stars, quality over quantity. Thank
Yep.
you for mentioning that. And then she also mentioned, she said also Diana is a powerhouse. Yeah, I can tell. That's why.
I love you, Christy.
Love to link up with powerhouses. So now we've got a few more minutes. Keep putting any kind of questions in the chat, people. After this, it's going to be a replay. And so we can get back to you and we'll let you know how to reach us in the end if we need to connect offline. So another big question I want to just dive into is this whole AI thing. I mean, everybody's having networking calls. I was on one last week. There's like 3 a week, I think, in different rooms. Like, come learn about AI. How's Chat GDP doing? And then it freezes on you and it's blowing up, and people are like, I can't get in. What is this thing? And so, is that a secret, or can you tell us more about how this AI thing works and how it's matched?
We call ours CATE, and it stands for Career AI Talent Equalizer.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's like a name. It's like your robot's name, basically. Kate.
Yes, exactly. and all she does is she's the one who just auto populates the skills, and she does the matching for us. But that does not take away from the human quality, because we are the ones who communicate with the candidates. We are still there for you. We don't let the AI technology take over that human quality.
Good.
Yeah, because I know there's a lot of people that are like, because I have talked to some people outside, and I tell them about our AI platform, and they're like, oh, well, then, you're letting a computer, take over the human quality, and, that takes away from, the personalization. I'm like, no. I go, the AI system is the only thing, all that AI system does is the matching. It only does, the matching of the skills to the employer. I go, we are still here. I go, the humans are still here to interact with the employers and to interact with the candidates. So anytime a candidate has an issue with the platform or with their profiles, I am here to help them. If I'm not here, one of my coworkers are here. Anytime an employer has an issue, we have our business communication partners, Christine Thomas. She's there to help. If she's not there, one of us is there to help as well. The AI system is not there to take over the human part of it. It's just there to help match the candidates to the employers and to kind of take that bias out of the system and to help to remove that, because I know there are some applicant tracking systems that filter out 95% of veterans, and to filter out people who have disabilities and those who have been involved in the criminal justice systems. That's what we're trying to remove. We have 3 communities within our nonprofit side of the house, which is called the Ascend Collective. That's the Veterans Ascend, which are for our military veterans and military spouses. Abilities to Ascend, which is for people who have disabilities, and Mission to Ascend, which is for people who have been involved in the criminal justice programs or system. So we're trying to help them get past that bias and past that judgment. When they fill out those applications and they have those questions on there, do you have a disability? Have you been involved in the criminal justice system? Those questions aren't even in our system. They do have that as personal identifiers, but that actually gives them a step up. You know what I mean? Because that gives them the leverage, like, hey, you're going to be part of our system, you be part of our programs to help you get past that.
Yeah, because it brings back to someone who was mentioning the other day. They said they had a military spouse that was looking for a job, and they mentioned it to another employer and said, hey, I've got a friend, connection, networking. I've got a friend who's looking for something. And the employer just flat out said, oh gosh, no, we don't hire military spouses. They move every 2 to 3 years. We're not going to waste all that time training them, and then they're gone, not working for us. And it just realized, wow, I wonder how many people brushed over my resume when I go places, and I'm like, what's wrong with me? Why? I have a master's degree in admin. I speak 3 languages, or you get the whole, oh, you're overqualified, way too overqualified.
Oh my God. That's one of the ones that I hate the most is you're overqualified. And I'm like, I'm applying for this for a reason.
Right. Yeah. And I just talked with someone the other day, and she mentioned she was going to just pick up a little side gig, single mom, working hard, working her butt off with 2 kids. And she went to the job placement place. She actually went there. She had an interview, and all the time that you waste too preparing, like she's getting dressed and getting prepared and presented, and then she gets there and they offer her for $13 an hour, some manager type position. So she's thinking, it's going to be somewhat, in like maybe 25, 30 something, $13 an hour. Like, okay, would you like to start next week? And her face is just like, I mean, you can go do dog walking. Our kids get that in high school for that. So that's what's out there too. We show up and we've got our minds spinning like, okay, maybe this is it. We're going to move forward. And then you come home completely just like, burst a bubble or whatever and be like, oh my gosh, this is it. Yeah.
Although McDonald's pays more than that.
I know. My husband's always reminding. I know. So, wow, those last 10 minutes went quick. It's like we have a little lull and then we keep going. So how do people reach you, Diana?
My website's down there at the bottom, but I can also put in my LinkedIn information. Let me get that real quick.
Okay, if you can. I can't really access the chat thing, hosting or something. And thank you, Phil. Phil from Jacksonville joined us. He's a veteran as well in the coaching world, and amazing guy who's done a lot and speaks from the heart. So had him on a show too. So yeah, you can reach Diane that way. Her link is down below, or you can even just Google. I've Googled talent to send. If I'm like out and about and I meet somebody and I don't have all your stuff, I'm like, Google this, get this in your phone. Ask for Diana. And for myself, Vanessa Donaldson, you can reach me at resetwithvanessa.com. And I'm happy to help anybody transitioning. If you have any questions, follow up from here. I'm also doing VA disability audits. I am a third-party contractor for a company that's helping those veterans that are stuck in the VA system with their disability claims. And, maybe they got a really low rating and they're just sitting there in shock, like, this is it. This is my compensation for the rest of my life. So I'm there to walk them through that process. And we just actually processed another lady yesterday, a vet in Florida here, but I can work with people all over the U.S. So my number is on there to text me, the 949-776-8731 for the VA disability audits. And your LinkedIn is right there too. So
we didn't put it in the chat for some reason, but
yeah, I had chat stuff too. Still getting new on this LinkedIn Live, but thank you all. Sorry, we went a few minutes over. I hope we brought you guys some value today, and we will see you here on Your Life Beyond the Military for another candid discussion of, the reality of what it is on the other side. And maybe I'll be talking to Diane and her husband about their VA disability claim too in the future, making sure your husband gets the best that he needs. So thank you all for joining in, and we will see you another time. Bye. Happy Friday, Financial Friday.